Hello and welcome back to Android Lab. Today we have the 10th experiment. This is one of the most interesting experiments we are going to see in this entire lab. This is fragment layouts. Okay, so basically we are given some directives in this experiment. We create a fragment layout and we have two fragments. Okay, so when we select an item from fragment 1, it leads to the updation of a second fragment. Okay, so now I thought of something interesting. We can do this with images. Okay, so the first thing you do, you have your main activity. There's nothing more, you don't really need to do anything much here. You just inflate your activity main. Okay, and your activity main consists of the two fragments. Okay, and the two fragments, you can see them. I have a list fragment and an image fragment. Okay, so you just call the two fragments using this fragment tag. Okay, and give them ID. So the first ID is fragment, the second ID is fragment.2. Okay, and you can see how I designed it here. Okay, so now the important thing here is to create a list fragment. Okay, a class known as list frag. Okay, now this list frag, what it does is that, now the first thing you have to do when you create this list frag is that you extend fragments as usual. Okay, and then when you extend fragment as usual, you have to override this particular function on create view. Okay, now on create view has some particular parameters like the inflator, which helps you inflate the particular layout you're looking for this fragment, and then it has a view group container. Okay, and then it has a bundle saved instance state. Okay, now in our list frag.xml we created a list view. Okay, as you can see, we have a list view in our list frag.xml. Okay, so we are going to inflate this list frag.xml in our Java class. Okay, so now in the Java class we're using inflator.inflate. Okay, you give the layout you want to inflate. Okay, that's the list frag.xml. Okay, now you give the parent. Okay, the parent class that's going to contain this layout that you're inflating, and that is this view group object, which is container. Okay, and false means that it is not attached to the root, the root of the parent. Okay, so it is not attached to this container. Okay, and so next thing, we create a list view object. Okay, and then using the list view object, you find this particular view. That's this view that is here. You see this view has an ID of list view. Okay, so using that list view object, you find it, but notice that you don't use find view by ID as usual, as you do in the main activity, because you won't find it. Okay, so this view object that you give this layer that you inflated, you use that to find the view by ID. Okay, and then you create a string, okay, of various images. Now before I did this, I have all this cat, dog, horse, bird, goat, tree, houses, all these things in my array string. Okay, I have their images given in the drawable. Okay, I downloaded the images of each of these things and put them in the drawable folder. Okay, so now we have an array adapter. The array adapter, sorry about that. So the array adapter is initialized using this array adapter is equal to new array adapter. So the first thing is the activity. You get the particular activity, that's this activity, that's the context of the activity. Okay, now the next thing is to use a standard Android layout. Okay, that's simple list item 1. So this standard Android layout enables you to use a standard already predefined list. Okay, already predefined list style. Okay, that the Android has already given. Okay, and then we give our array string array here, images. Okay, now then we set the adapter using our list view. Okay, and then set using set on item click list on item click listing, and that means each time you click an item in the list, okay, what happens? Okay, that's basically what this is. Okay, so each time you click on an item in the list, what happens? Okay, so what happens is that we create a text view. Okay, now the text view is given in this using this view object. The view object is used to create a text view. Okay, and then you get the data from the text view using view1.getText.toString into string data. Okay, and then when you get the data, you get the resource ID using getResources.getIdentifier data drawable getActivity.packageName. Okay, so this basically helps you to get the image. What this basically does is enables us to get the image. Okay, so what happens is that this text view is where the list is displayed. So each time I click on the item, okay, each time I click on an item, it gets the data of the item I clicked on, okay, and gives it to the string data. Okay, and then using that data that I got, I get the appropriate image, okay, of that data from my drawable file. So that's what this file does, and store it in an integer variable, okay, known as resource ID. Okay, using getResources.getIdentifier and using drawable data and getActivity.getPackageName, you get the appropriate image. Okay, next thing, we create a fragment manager object. Okay, and then using this fragment manager object, after creating this fragment manager object, we create an image frag object. Now image frag is our next Java this file. Now in image frag, I've explained it before, we basically extend fragment and then have an image view. Okay, then it inflates this this layout. This layout has an image view, okay, for displaying the image. So this is basically to inflate the layout. Okay, and then the image view is found using view.findViewById. Okay, note that this view must always be there. If you don't use this view, you won't be able to get the output. Okay, so now we create an object of the image frag. Okay, and then using fragment manager, we find the fragment by ID and we call the arrow.id.fragment2. Okay, and then using the image frag, image view, we set the image resource to our resource ID. Okay, so when I run this program, the results are quite interesting. So we have our two fragments. Okay, so we have a cat. Okay, when I click the cat, you can see we have a cat here, and then we have a dog, we have a horse, a bird, a goat, a tree, a house. Okay, so there are two static fragments. Okay, but when I click one, it updates the second one. So that's basically the 10th experiment. Thank you for joining.